Every AI model you've ever used, every chatbot, every image generator, every algorithm deciding what you see, what you buy, who gets hired, they all run on chips made by one company. Not Google, not OpenAI, not the government. A graphics card company from California that got so powerful they don't even hide it anymore. They just show up to earnings calls, announce another $30 billion quarter, and watch the world scramble to buy more. This is NVIDIA, and they don't control AI because they're the best. They control it because everyone else is already trapped. 1993, three guys in a Denny's in San Jose decide to start a company. Their big idea? Make video games look better. That's it. Better polygons, smoother explosions, shinier dragons. They called it NVIDIA, named after NVIDIA, Latin for envy. Fitting considering what happened next. For years, they were just the chip company gamers cared about. Want to run Crysis? You need NVIDIA. Want ray tracing in your first-person shooter? NVIDIA. They were good at one thing, making little processors scream through millions of calculations to render pixels fast. But here's what nobody saw coming. Those same calculations, the ones making you GPUs sweat to render a sunset in Red Dead Redemption, turns out they're the exact same math AI needs to learn. Teaching a computer to recognize a cat requires showing it a million pictures and asking it billions of tiny questions. Is this orange? Is this pointy? Is this fur or a couch cushion? That's parallel processing. The same thing a GPU does when it's rendering 1,000 raindrops in a cutscene. So when the AI boom hit, researchers realized something. We don't need a new chip. We already have one. It's been sitting in gaming PCs for 20 years. NVIDIA had accidentally built the infrastructure for the future, and they were the only ones who knew how to manufacture it at scale. Oops. Here's where NVIDIA stopped being lucky and started being scary. 2006, they released something called CUDA. It's a programming language. Sounds boring. It's not. Before CUDA, programming a graphics card was like trying to perform surgery with oven mitts. Technically possible, practically a nightmare. CUDA made it easy, and every AI researcher, every PhD student, every engineer at Google, Meta, OpenAI, they all learned to code in CUDA. Every tutorial, every library, every framework built on CUDA, which only works on NVIDIA chips. So yeah, AMD makes GPUs, sometimes cheaper, sometimes faster. Doesn't matter, because switching from NVIDIA to AMD is like switching from Coke to Pepsi. It's like rewriting your entire PhD thesis in Mandarin. Nobody's doing that. Not when deadlines exist, not when investors are breathing down your neck, not when NVIDIA's chips already work. This is called lock-in, and it's the most beautiful trap a company can set. 2019, NVIDIA's data center revenue, $3 billion. Solid, nothing crazy. 2023, $47 billion. 2024, over $100 billion. That's not a growth curve, that's a vertical line on a graph that's run out of room. The company is now worth $3 trillion, more than the entire economy of France, more than Amazon, more than Google, at one point, briefly, more valuable than Apple. A chip company. Let that sink in. Jensen Huang, the CEO, went from tech nobody to showing up in a leather jacket like he's the frontman of Motley Crue, which in the semiconductor world, he basically is. But here's the uncomfortable part. That $3 trillion, it's not based on what NVIDIA sells today. It's based on a bet that AI keeps growing, that demand never stops, that this boom goes on forever. And maybe it does. Or maybe we're in the biggest speculative bubble since the dot-com crash and nobody wants to admit it yet. Right now, every tech company is spending obscene money on AI infrastructure. Microsoft, $50 billion on data centers this year. Google, same. Meta, stockpiling NVIDIA chips like they're hoarding toilet paper before a hurricane. But here's the question nobody's asking out loud. When does AI start making money? Because right now, it's mostly spending it. OpenAI loses money on every ChatGPT query. Most AI products are free or subsidized. The business models are theoretical. The revenue is imaginary. which means NVIDIA is selling shovels to people who haven't found gold yet. They're just convinced it's down there. And history has a lot of examples of shovel sellers getting filthy rich during gold rushes, right up until everyone realizes the mine is empty. But NVIDIA doesn't care, because they're not mining, they're just selling tools, and as long as people keep digging, they keep printing money. Here's where it gets messy. NVIDIA chips don't just power chatbots, they power the AI that could cure cancer, solve climate change, automate warfare, build surveillance states. All of it runs through one company. China knows this, which is why in 2022 the US government banned NVIDIA from selling its best chips to China, cut them off entirely. Because if AI is the new oil, NVIDIA chips are the refineries, and you don't let your enemies control the refineries. But here's the problem. Banning the sale doesn't kill the demand, it just creates a black market. NVIDIA's top chips are being smuggled into China through shell companies in Singapore and Malaysia. Reports say H100s are selling on Chinese gray markets for double, even triple the price. You've created a smuggling operation for semiconductors. Congratulations, America. You've turned GPUs into contraband. But the bigger issue, you've made NVIDIA a geopolitical choke point. One company, one product, and every superpower on Earth is either dependent on it or desperately trying to replicate it. That's not a business, that's a weapon. Let's do a thought experiment. NVIDIA disappears tomorrow. Asteroid, cyber attack, doesn't matter. What happens? Google can't train new AI models. OpenAI can't scale. Every autonomous vehicle project freezes. Every medical AI research lab grinds to a halt. AI development doesn't slow down, it stops. Because there's no backup supplier, no second option with the same capability. The entire global AI ecosystem runs on NVIDIA hardware. We've built the future on a single point of failure. And the weirdest part, NVIDIA didn't plan this. They were making graphics cards for gamers. They stumbled into AI dominance because their chips happened to be good at parallel math. This wasn't a master plan, it was luck. Extraordinarily well executed, perfectly timed, absurdly profitable luck. But still luck. Which raises the question, if the most important company in the AI revolution got there by accident, what else are we completely wrong about? You're not buying NVIDIA stock. You're probably not building data centers, but you're paying them anyway. Every time you use ChatGPT, every AI feature in your apps, every free tool that's actually subsidized by a company burning venture capital, someone somewhere is paying NVIDIA. And if they raise prices, you pay more. If they can't produce enough chips, AI progress stalls. If they stop selling to certain countries, entire industries collapse. You don't own the leash, but you're definitely on it. Future 1? AI keeps booming. NVIDIA becomes the first $10 trillion company. Jensen Huang's face goes on currency. Investors retire to private islands. The stock splits 47 more times. Future 2? The bubble pops. Companies realize they can't monetize AI. Chip orders dry up. NVIDIA's stock craters 80%. Turns out it was a speculative mania all along. Whoops. Future 3? Competitors catch up. Not tomorrow, but in 5 years, maybe 10. AMD cracks the software. Intel makes a comeback. Some PhD student in a garage builds a better architecture. NVIDIA's dominance fades, slowly, then suddenly. Nobody knows which future we're in. And that's the point. Because right now, the entire AI revolution, the thing that might reshape every job, every industry, every aspect of human civilization, is running on hardware controlled by one company in Santa Clara. Not a government, not an international coalition, a company with shareholders and quarterly earnings calls and a CEO in a leather jacket. There's a concept in ecology called a keystone species. Remove it and the entire ecosystem collapses. Wolves in Yellowstone, sea otters in kelp forests, bees. NVIDIA is the keystone species of artificial intelligence, and ecosystems with single points of failure, they're fragile. The optimists say competition will emerge, markets will correct, decentralization will win. The pessimists say we're watching a monopoly form in real time, and by the time we realize it, it'll be too late to stop it. Both might be right, or both might be wrong. We won't know until it's already happened. NVIDIA's favorite defense: we just make the tools. What people do with them isn't our responsibility. We built the hammer. If someone uses it to build a house or crack a skull, that's not on us. Convenient argument, except when your hammer is the only hammer and everyone who wants to build anything needs your hammer and you're charging $40,000 per hammer. At some point, you're not just selling tools, you're deciding who gets to build. So here's where we are. One company makes the chips that run AI. Those chips cost a fortune. Everyone needs them. Nobody else can make them as well. And the entire technological future is running through their factories. That's not speculation. That's just reality. The question isn't whether NVIDIA is powerful. It's whether that power is permanent, or just a moment, a brief window where one company held the keys to the future before someone else figured out how to pick the lock. And we won't know the answer until it's already over. Next time you use AI to write an email, edit a photo, or ask a chatbot for dating advice, remember, somewhere in a data center, there's a chip made by one company running at speeds that would have seemed impossible 20 years ago, burning enough electricity to power a small city. And without it, none of this works. That's not a warning about the future. That's right now. And the terrifying part? We're all just hoping the shovels run out. Because if they do, the gold rush is over. And nobody's ready for that.